Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jen.
And today we are extending more fencing. So Premier One Fencing, we got another 100-foot round to extend our female goat area because they need more room.
Yep.
And it allows us to give us a little bit more to what we needed to be able to do some rotational grazing. With the 200-foot we had, it was a little tight.
Yeah.
But that has sparked up so many questions about what type of fencing we use. A lot of people know that it's Premier One, but they also want to know like what type, because when you get on there, it's weird numbers and you're just not sure. So before we jump into that, I want to show you what we use. That way you can make your own decision.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's start with our chicken coop area. One thing you'll notice is this fence is about the fence that we use everywhere besides one. And there's a reason for that. When you're shopping Premier One Fencing, it'll say sheep, goat, pigs, chickens, or poultry, it'll say all these different things. You're like, which one do I get? You get fencing for the hardest animal that fence may potentially hold, and that's the fence you go with. So if you have poultry, because you can move Premier One Fencing around, get poultry netting. And the only difference with this one is the small squares, and then when you see down here, they're real close, so no predators can get in or out. I have the fence off, by the way, that's why I can touch it. So this is 4 foot high. There is 42 inches high, and that one's okay. But if you also have larger animals like goats, you want to get the 4 foot height. So to me,
Whoa.
Break my shirt. The best fence that you can get all around for any animal is 4 foot high poultry fence. Poultry fencing? Are you kidding me?
They're getting very invasive.
Yes, they are. So 48 inch high poultry fencing. Second thing, when you buy their starter kit, you're probably going to get a single spike. And that's what I mean by single spike. In just a second, I'll show you what a double spike looks like. And that's the one I recommend. So poultry fencing, 48 inches high, double spike. And then the length is just up to you. We usually get nothing smaller than 100 foot. They do have some options to go smaller, but 100 foot is what you ultimately need. The second type of fence we have, this is actually considered goat fencing. As you can see, the squares are much bigger. One thing that's different with this is the inside. That's much stronger, so the fence itself is a little bit more durable, I would say, because of the harder plastic. You'll also notice the fence posts are much farther apart. If it didn't have this, it would slack in really bad. So the poultry fencing is a lot closer together. Double spike, that's what I mean. Double spike is so much stronger, and it's so much easier to get in the ground because you can put your foot on it. Single spike, if you're dealing with any kind of hard ground, or if you got rock, I can't take any kind of serious video because of all the animals. Yeah, so you want to get the double spike. It just makes life a lot easier. The goat fencing is fine, but I'll never be able to put a chicken in it because they can just get right through these holes. But we'll just keep this specifically for the goats.
Or pigs.
Or pigs. Let's talk power. So you're gonna get offered 3 different IntelShock solar power batteries. They have 30, 60, and 120. So on our chickens, we have a 30, and then the other 2 that we have are 60s. 60s can hold up from 2 to 1 to 4 fences, 400-foot fences, and the 30 can handle about 2 of them. And then the 120 is even more. I think it can handle about up to 5 to 6 fences. So just take that on whatever you want for an expansion. It's also gonna give a better shock power. It varies on price. The reason we got that 30 that one time is because we knew we'd just make that one the chicken area, and it's a lot cheaper. So that's an option there, but we have 30s and 60s if you were curious on which one to get. They are solar, but you know, in the wintertime, you don't get as much sun. This is a rare day for us here in Kentucky. You can get a charger to where you can actually plug it into the wall. That way you can charge it up during the day when you don't have as much of a necessary to keep it on. And the last thing before we do go add our fencing and show you all what we're gonna do with the goats. Speaking of keeping it on and off and when to do so, once your animals are trained on that fence, you don't have to keep it on all the time. So we mainly keep ours on at night, just when there's predator potential, because all of our animals are 100% trained on this fencing. We trained them as when they were babies, they respect it and learn it. I mean, it's just a train of boys needing some women in their life back here. But yeah, so if you are low on power, turn that thing off, let it give itself a charge, and just turn it back on at night. So that's one way that you can avoid having to worry about taking it in and charging it or whatever it may be. But make sure your animals are trained on it, because if they're not, they'll get out of it. They really will. So just be careful there. But other than that, that's your power. That's the style fencing that we use. And then our ladies is this poultry fencing. So that's what we're gonna add again, just for the chance that if we ever want to expand our chicken area, we'll have fencing that we can use it with. I tell you what, petting zoo, y'all made that the most difficult thing in the world to try to shoot them clips. I appreciate all the noise and the distractions, fellas. My goodness. Ah, there's Stivers. Let's get in the mix. Okay, so here it is out of its package, and this is called the Perma Net. So it's semi-permanent. You're gonna have weekly movers and semi-movers, which is like every 3 to 6 months. What it basically means is weight. So these posts are a little more heavy duty than say the more weekly mover ones. The netting's lighter, because if you're gonna move it a lot, they try to make it lighter. I like these, the more durable, the better. So this is the actual name that you're gonna see, because this is the part that always confuse people. It's a Perma Net Plus, and the lines are 12-48-3. So what that means, if I think right, so it's 48 inches high. I think the three is a 3 foot between the poles. I'm not 100% sure on what the 12 is, but I bet it's a foot, so maybe that's the distance between the poles. I don't know, but it's 48 foot high. It's a 100-foot fence, and it's called Perma Net Plus. Just the biggest thing is making sure it's 48 inches high and it's poultry with the double spike. So let's get this out. And what we're doing is really rearranging all of this. So Jen will stand you here and show you, we've got them kind of at a tight, it's not very wide, but it's lengthy out this way. We're gonna change that and move them into this.
Yeah.
All kinds of cedar needles and all kinds of
Also,
stuff.
this was originally supposed to be a driveway, so a lot of it's rock,
Yeah.
which is awesome for goats because that takes down the amount of parasites and mud, and
Yeah.
it's better for their systems because ruminants they don't need rock, but it's better for them.
Right, and some vets, if you talk to them, they'll say don't put a goat on anything but rock.
Yeah.
Just because it helps the hooves and hoof rot, like Jim was saying. So it is good that they'll have a little rock to kind of climb on and different stuff and get out of the mud. But
Yep.
Let's do this. So we did get the fence up and it's done, but we had to bring the kids to Grammy's.
Yep.
Also, weird fact, I always drive, so this is weird. Feels weird.
I'm also in my car, which is very small.
Yeah, usually we always drive the truck and I feel like a ginormous man in here.
Yeah.
So that is done. We are going to actually film in the morning and finish it up and show you all what it's done because we're losing daylight.
Yeah.
So
And it's getting really cold.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually been a couple days. So I want to show you all a few things, but that's where their house is. I almost said was. Right here to about right there is all they had. It was just a very tight and long, narrow area. Now they've got, stay with me, all the way into those trees. So let's check it out. This Perma Net fencing is amazing. It's beautiful. And we were out, like I didn't have power. So the one thing that you have to watch when you're moving these things around is this. You see these little bitty rings that hold on to the end post? So this is where the fence would technically end. That ring on the bottom can slide down and sit right there on your spike. And when that thing falls on your spike, you're grounding out. So that is a common thing that happens. She's just excited. Dolly went running. That's a common thing that happens with these that you need to watch out if you don't have power is just check your spikes, make sure your wire's not touching it. It's not too bad. You know, you just do a nice little walk around your fence, which you should be doing anyways, right? To make sure that there's no issues. Make sure it hasn't fallen underneath there. But let's look at all this other area. So right there, you can see it goes behind these trees. Back in there, I gotta get in there. I want them to clear these things out, which they've already been doing. They've had so much to eat. So we're going into the woods. Hold on with me. And then they've got all the way back into there. And it cuts around. So this was a huge benefit for us. You can kind of see here, they go even further up into our driveway and the goats love it. It honestly looks like we hardly have any goats because they got so much room. And where we had our driveway originally here, they've got all this rock, which is such a huge, huge benefit for goats. Helps them get out of the mud. It helps keep their hooves down because they can keep them short, and the rocks kind of help out with that. Hi, Butters. Oh, hi, Dolly. Miss Jealous Bot. Hi, Ray Ray. Ray Ray out here doing some chores with me. So, all that's huge, but there's a couple more things that I want to show you. Before we do that though, Premier One Fencing, when this was just a dream, and we just had a dream of doing homesteading, and we couldn't afford to fence off our whole area with permanent fencing, which will still happen. Premier One made it possible for us to even do this. So that's why we use it so much, not just because of the normal factors of saying, well, we can move them around, they can have different spots, get green grass, we can move the fence, which are all huge benefits. But this doesn't make you have to do corner posts, which is not easy. That's not easy to do. It doesn't have to drag or put in T-posts everywhere. And you don't have to buy fencing and put all this stuff up. We don't have heavy machinery. We don't have things like that. Our hands, for the most part. So Premier One Fencing makes it possible for dreamers, for new people, for people that are getting into this, to have your livestock. And it's more protection. You don't have to worry about anything getting in, getting out. All of it's secure. And so that's why we use it so much. It's just because in the status of our life, it's 100% necessary to have. It just allows us not to do that permanent fencing. So we did the fencing, but we did two more things. Let's look at it. You loving all your animals? Aw. Better say, go on now. I got my own kids I gotta take care of.
Hey, don't pull me down. Don't.
So if you remember correctly, we had all of this. It was completely filled up just with all kinds of trees, locust trees, thorns everywhere. Straight demon area of thorns. We have officially cleared it all out, and I'm falling in a hole. So we spent all day yesterday doing that. We had John from JCB Farm and Garden. Jed was here. Graybeard was here. Grammy Karen. And of course, Jen, you know she was here. So we did all this work clearing all this out. It looks great. A lot of hard work. We filmed zero because we were all just constantly working. And then today is starting the second structure that we said that we were going to do. As you can tell, this one's much taller. So it's 8 foot, 7 foot, 6 foot. And so we've got that one building in. This is going to be officially the milking kidding area because we would be in it more. And so we have much more head clearance. And then that one will stay the sleeping area. So we'll just take some of the stuff out. But all we'll have to do is, if you follow me, move that fence up a little. Then we're going to take it around this tree and park it right on the corner here. So that'll give them access to both. And so I have to build another gate, get the roof on, and then we got to close in the sides. So there's still a lot of work left to do. But this was one of the hardest parts, is just getting the structure sound. And if you ever was concerned about these pallets, it don't move once you get it in. So I highly recommend it. I love it. I could build a house out of it. What do you think, babe?
I love it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm shocked we got it all done this weekend, but we did.
It was a very busy weekend. We are tired. Grammy Karen always creeping in the back. But I did want to address one thing. A lot of people said, why don't you just let your goats clear that out? You know, the only reason we didn't do that was because it was mainly locust trees and thorns and bushes, and there was nothing to eat. Yeah. Huge. Straight demon thorns. Yeah. But, you know, it was very established locust trees. So that's why we didn't put them in here. They just wouldn't have ate anything. They might have pushed some stuff down, but they wouldn't have cleared it out. Ghosts don't do that. They like to eat. And so we left the cedar trees for them to have that, but now we can actually get in here and move around. So that's the one thing we wanted to do. All right, y'all. we love the Premier One fencing. It makes it possible for us to live this way. If you are interested, we'll put the link down below in the description, and I'll pin a comment. If I don't remember, someone remind me. All right, y'all.
We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.